The Curse of Halloween Eve. Chapter 1. The Eyes of the Night. John Moser woke on October 30th, his heart pounding like a drum in his chest. The calendar on his nightstand glared at him, its bold red circle around October 31st a grim reminder of the curse that had haunted him for a decade. Tomorrow, Halloween Eve, the eyes would return, sprouting from his scalp, his arms, his chest, unblinking and grotesque, watching the world in a way that made his skin crawl. By dawn on November 1st, they'd vanish, leaving him shaken but unharmed, until the next year's torment. The curse began 10 years ago, after a chance encounter in Lancaster County. John, a skeptical journalist, had been investigating rumors of an Amish witch named Eliza Stoltzfus, a woman shunned by her community for dabbling in forbidden magic. He'd found her in a crumbling barn, her eyes sharp as flint, chanting over a fire that burned without fuel. Mocking her rituals, he'd laughed, until she turned, pointed a gnarled finger, and hissed words in Pennsylvania Dutch that seared into his soul. That night, the first eyes appeared. Now, with Halloween Eve looming, John was desperate. He'd tried everything, doctors, priests, even a shady occultist in Philadelphia, but nothing worked. Then, a tip from an old Amish farmer changed everything. Jacob Lenny Lionstar, the legendary Amish exorcism musician, lived deep in Hex County, Pennsylvania. Jacob's music, played on a hand-carved fiddle, was said to unravel even the darkest spells. But Hex County was a maze of backroads and secrets, and Jacob was a recluse, wary of outsiders.
Is the angel of death, Joseph, still living here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania?
John packed a
among
bag,
the
grabbed
Amish?
his car keys, and set out from his Pittsburgh apartment. The drive to Hex County was 3 hours, through rolling hills and dense forests where fog clung like a curse of its own. His GPS flickered, unreliable in these parts, so he relied on a crumpled map and the farmer's vague directions. Follow the old mill road till you hear the fiddle. Chapter 2. Into Hex County. Hex County wasn't on most maps. Tucked between Lancaster and Berks, it was a place whispered about in Amish communities, a haven for those who straddled the line between faith and folklore. As John's car rattled down a gravel road, the air grew thick with the scent of pine and damp earth. The sun dipped low, casting long shadows that seemed to writhe. He passed abandoned barns and silent fields, their scarecrows standing like sentinels.
Is the angel of death, Joseph,
At dusk,
still living
he reached
here in
the old mill
Lancaster,
road, a
Pennsylvania,
narrow path
among
flanked
the
by gnarled
Amish?
trees. His radio crackled, spitting static, then fell silent. In the distance, faint and haunting, he heard it, a fiddle's mournful wail, rising and falling like a heartbeat. John parked near a rickety bridge and followed the sound on foot. The music grew louder, weaving through the trees, both beautiful and unsettling. It led him to a clearing where a small cabin stood, its windows glowing with lantern light. Outside, a man in a black hat and plain clothes sat on a stump, drawing a bow across a fiddle that gleamed like polished bone. His fingers moved with unnatural speed, the notes sharp enough to cut through the night. "You Jacob Lenny Lionstar?" John called, his voice trembling. The music stopped. The man looked up, his eyes piercing under the brim of his hat.
Is the
Who's the
angel of
skin?
death, Joseph, still
John
living
Moser.
here in Lancaster, Pennsylvania,
I'm cursed.
among the Amish?
They say you can help. Jacob studied him, his face unreadable. Curses ain't trifles.
Nice
Who
to
hexed
see you, Jacob.
Eliza
Even though I don't
Stoltzfus.
like you or your guitar.
Every Halloween Eve, eyes grow all over
Nice
me.
to see you, Jacob.
They watch, they
Even
stare
though I don't
till
like
dawn.
you or your guitar.
I can't take it anymore. Jacob's expression darkened at Eliza's name.
Going by the name
Her magic's old, twisted. Breaking it ain't simple. You got till midnight tomorrow, or the music won't work till next year. John's stomach churned. Then let's do it now. Jacob shook his head. Need time to prepare. The fiddle's gotta be tuned to your curse, and I need to carve a new bow, one that can cut through Eliza's spell. Come back at dusk tomorrow. And don't be late. Chapter 3, The Witch's Shadow. John spent the night in his car, too anxious to sleep. The forest around him whispered with strange noises, owls, wind, or something else. He dreamed of eyes, hundreds of them, staring from the trees. When he woke, Halloween Eve had dawned, gray and cold. He returned to Jacob's cabin at dusk, the air heavy with the promise of the curse. Jacob was waiting, his fiddle now strung with a bow made of dark wood, etched with symbols John didn't recognize. "This'll do it," Jacob said, "but you gotta face the curse head on. When the eyes come, don't run. Stand firm, or the music won't take."
From his scalp, his arms, his chest, unblinking and grotesque, watching the world in a way that made his skin crawl. By dawn on November 1st, they'd vanish, leaving him shaken but unharmed, until the next year's torment.
As midnight approached, John felt the first prickling on his skin. He gasped as an eye opened on his forearm, its pupil darting wildly. Another sprouted on his neck, then his chest. He fought the urge to scream as his body became a canvas of unblinking gazes. Jacob began to play. The fiddle's notes were sharp, almost painful, slicing through the air like a blade.
Is the angel of
The
death,
eyes on John's body
Joseph, still
twitched,
living
their
here in
pupils
Lancaster,
dilating as if in
Pennsylvania,
fear.
among the Amish?
The music grew louder, faster, a storm of sound that seemed to pull at the very fabric of the curse. John's vision blurred, his head pounding, but he stood firm, clinging to Jacob's words. Then, a shadow moved in the trees. A figure emerged, Eliza Stoltzfus, her face older but unmistakable, her eyes burning with malice. "You think a fiddle can undo my work," she hissed. "Those eyes see your sins, John Moser. They'll never leave you." Jacob didn't flinch. His music shifted, the notes now a fierce chant, matching Eliza's presence. The eyes on John's body began to close, one by one, their lids sealing shut as the music drowned out Eliza's voice. She screamed, a sound like breaking glass, and vanished into the night. Chapter 4. Dawn's Mercy. As the first light of November 1st broke over the horizon, the last eye on John's body
Hey
faded.
John, you might say I'm giving
He collapsed,
you the evil
gasping,
eye.
his skin smooth once more. Jacob lowered his fiddle, his face weary but satisfied. "It's done," he said. "She won't trouble you again." John stammered his thanks, offering payment, but Jacob waved him off. "Ain't about money. Just don't mock what you don't understand no more." John drove back to Pittsburgh, the weight of the curse lifted. He never returned to Hex County, but every Halloween Eve, he'd pause, listening for the faint echo of a fiddle in the wind, a reminder of the night music saved him. Or so John thought.
Nice to see you, Jacob. Even though I don't like you or your guitar.
Hey John, you might say I'm giving you the evil eye.
Nice to see you, Jacob. Even though I don't like you or your guitar.
break this curse is lost. To find release, just find release. Oh, please, before